All right, we're back, and unfortunately, especially for Houston fans, of course, this factoid lives on. It is 7 Final Fours and no national titles for the Cougars. 0-3 in the title game. Here was Kelvin Sampson's opening statement moments ago.
Yeah, I told our guys after the game to be disappointed you lost, but do not be disappointed in your effort. Defending Florida is difficult. They got a really, really good team. Coach Golden runs great schemes over there, but we guarded them. We held that team to 65 points. I thought if we held Duke to under 70, we'd have a good chance to win. And I felt like if we held Florida under 70, we'd have a good chance to win. Saturday, we found a way to win. Tonight, maybe not so much. But two great teams, two tough teams. We lost by 2 points. They made one more play than we did tonight.
And a lot of those plays were defensive plays, especially at the end, and disrupting what Houston was trying to do offensively, whether it was, not allowing open shots or causing turnovers late in the game.
The effort that team plays with is incredible. I mean, Houston is the hardest playing basketball team I've seen in maybe 10 years, the culture that they play with. They put themselves in a great position to win. The bottom line is, if you want to win a national championship, you got to be able to score the basketball. It's becoming an offensive game. They couldn't find a way to get any legitimate good looks at the basket, couldn't get separation from their guards. As a result, Florida hunted them down. They tracked them down. And the momentum, once it shifts, and your kids playing in the biggest game of your life, sometimes you don't make the smartest plays down the stretch, and that's unfortunately what happened to Houston.
I mean, I would agree with some of that, but I would also disagree to say that Florida's defense saved them.
Yeah,
more than their offense. They really locked down Houston. And again, you're talking about two teams that play with two bigs. Houston doesn't have a face-up big, right? So now you got 3 guards, and I'll give Florida credit. They did a great job of guarding those guys off the dribble. To last point, maybe they were tired. Milos Uzan did not have his best game, and Sharp didn't either. So, again, we can sit here and question, what happened at the end. But what we cannot question is the job that Kelvin Sampson has done with the University of Houston and how he brought them to relevance from 2018 and 19 to where they are now. And losing in the championship game should not be a disappointment. This is a part of it. Only one team was going to win tonight.
Yeah.
Give Florida credit, right? But at the end of the day, the University of Houston, they are here to stay, and it's just a matter of how long Kelvin Sampson wants to be there and keep it, because it's all gas, no brakes with the University of Houston. Just they fell short tonight.
They fell short, and Wally was talking about ball movement and all that stuff, down the stretch. Houston went out in the offseason last year and targeted one position, a replacement for Jamal Shedd at point guard, and Milos Uzan, lap nose because he did the game, was sensational against Purdue in the Sweet 16, 22 points and 6 assists. In the last 3 games of the NCAA tournament, Uzan had 19 points combined and 6 assists. His production level after that Purdue game really, really dropped. And the NCAA tournament's about guard play, as we saw with Florida. And after the Purdue game, Uzan was not the same player.
Gary made this point, and it's a great point. All 4 of these teams that were in this Final Four were in the top 10 in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. So to sit here, we shouldn't be surprised that Florida's defense was that good in the last 12 minutes of that game, because they were the number 10 defensive team in the country. But we got so enamored with Houston because they were so unbelievable defensively as the number 1 team that we forgot that this Florida team, they can guard also, and they also out-rebounded Houston tonight. On the offensive glass, they even had more points. Even though Houston got more offensive rebounds, Florida had more points than Houston did on second shots. So give them credit. They stood up to the physicality that Houston brings to the table, especially in the last 12 minutes of the game.
Which is when they come alive. It's like you have to watch out for gators certain times a day. In basketball, it's the same thing with erasing these leads.